Hello and welcome back to Daily Weekly Builds, and here I am in my LEGO studio where I'm working on my custom LEGO city. And I recently added, I made it bigger. I added 2 more tables here and I made space along the back so we can extend it that way. So there's a whole lot of work to be done. And today I'm going to be working on one of the new areas here by the train track, because the train track is going to be extended. At first we had our one single line with our small little platform here. It's still going to terminate here. It's the end of line stop. But as you can see, a while ago I did start to put in some track just to continue on, and I'm going to add in the line down here. I have the track parts. I don't have enough to do all the ballasting work today, but we'll get to that. Everything will be done at one point or another, so make sure you're subscribed and become a channel member so you can see LEGO City updates before anybody else. That's a pretty cool perk. And we're also going to add in a station building this side. Like, we have this little shack here from the LEGO City Downtown tram set, which works greatly, and it's the same colour scheme and everything, so it's nice brand consistency there. But I'm going to be using 2 of the LEGO City train station sets from 2022, because I really like that set, which also came with these 2 blue buses here. Lovely, great design. That set was just all round really good. So I'm going to combine them, make a large train station building here, kind of extend it a little bit more, and just make the platform look all nice. But I won't be able to finish all of that today, but I can make a start. And in case you didn't know what that LEGO train station set from 2022 looked like, here it is from that LEGO City set, as original intended, instructions followed. And I had 2 of them, ta-da! So at first I just kind of built it exactly the same, but what I'm actually going to do is mirror the build slightly. So we're going to have them kind of next to each other to create this one big building. I'm not really fussed about the interiors at this stage, but maybe I'll get around to doing it later on. So I'm going to mirror this one, put them next to each other, and then eventually also extend the back so they stick out further a little bit more. And just kind of make this the real proper city train station for our platform one side. So for this one, I don't really need to make any changes, I don't think. It kind of just stays as it is. Of course, at the moment, once I place it in the city, it will still be opened back, because like I said, I am going to extend the back, so that will be fine for now. But yeah, otherwise, little changes need to be made to this one. Maybe a couple bits on the bottom, I can't quite remember. But this one here, the second one, is where things kind of really change. But luckily, this was made in such an easy way where I can modify it how I wanted to. So what I'm essentially doing is obviously moving the building here, and then this little outside awning is going to go on this side. So there isn't that much work to be done. I don't have any instructions for this yet, but if you're interested, maybe that's something I'll consider doing in the future. But I do have a digital plan, so I know it works, and it should be pretty straightforward to do. So here is my digital plan. As you can see, original station unmodified mostly, with the extended bit of platform out the back, and then the extra building around the back that you see there. And then our mirrored version, and it's slightly different because the awning doesn't go all the way across, as there is just slightly less space of where it's going to go. But it's still generally the same sort of idea. So this is the plan. This is what it's going to look like. Obviously, I'll join the 2 halves together once everything's complete, but this is just to show that it's still very much 2 separate things, and they'll just be placed next to each other. So if I need to rearrange the city or take things apart, it's still nice and easy. It's not one massive building. And one of the first changes I'm going to make is a very simple one, and one that probably some of you might not even think of. But you see the little lights out here? I'm just going to change the colour of those LED bulbs, because, yeah, it's modern technology, fancy, maybe a bit of a blue light going on there, but we're going to go old school with the yellow lights, mainly because I just think that they look better in LEGO form as lights, and I actually need these trans light blue plates for something else, so I'm going to borrow those for now. There we go, just a quick, simple change, but it already looks better, I think. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. But some changes I do need to make to this original unmodified station are removing the little bike rack along the side here and changing out the supports that the station sits on, because if I set this up to LEGO train track, it's going to be 4 studs away and create a massive gap, which is fine, and I understand why they did it. If you have like a curve going right round, you need space for the train to move, etc. But since my current LEGO City layout isn't motorized, it's the end of the line, it's a straight track, I don't want there to be a massive gap between. So I'm going to take out these slopes here, and this station is going to sit on a mills plate anyway, so it doesn't need to be raised as high. So this bike rack is going to go. I need to raise this plate up to the same height as this one, just so that's all good, and just shift some of the underlying supports from underneath, but not too many changes need to be made here. Changes made so far: remove the lowermost support structure, so the platform is all done, and there's that. Well, it had that like 1 extra stud width here, which I moved to go down this end, and then for the little control tower, I have also blocked that in because even when I do expand the back, that's not going to be expanded. I did want to have a trans light blue as if it's a window on this side, but I don't have any. So for now, I'm going to use the white. But yeah, I think definitely it does need to be like a glass window there because this big white panel just looks a bit plain and boring. So that one could change in the future. Right then, this one is a little bit more involved in terms of what I've got to change. But first of all, let's remove that support structure, get it on the same as this one. Right, I've removed the lower supports, and I think this section is pretty easy to take apart in its own little module because it looks like it's only connected by a 1x8 plate here. The rest of it should just be able to take apart and a few minor modifications. So let's see how that works. Things have got a little bit messier than I thought. Sorting out the awning part, easy, but the rest of it, I forgot that, yeah, the arch is embedded into this wall, so I need to move this panel out the way and swap it with that one. Okay, let's do this. Ta-da! After a bit of trial and error and looking at my digital design, I've managed to figure it out. So you've still got a little ramp side this way, and it's just that the awning is a little bit shorter here, but I don't have one of the 2 stud wide windows, which I need, so I had to add that on the parts list. But since I took out the big window pane, I didn't realise it was actually one of these panels in trans light blue, so I only need to get one more now instead of 2, so that can be windows on both sides, and I think that does look a bit better. Interior and extension will come at a later date, but at least the front and probably the trickiest part is done. So now I've got the actual width of the whole train station platform. Yeah, so these are all leftover parts, and I managed to do most of this just by using parts from the set. I did have to use a couple of things from my own inventory, but there's a lot left over, including the other bench, which I don't have space for on this platform now, but I'll find use for it elsewhere in the city, and there's still that bench there. So that's basically done. I think, yeah, I can just place that back in the city and wait until I have some more money to do the rest of it. Right then, even though they're not completely finished, let's place them back into the city to see how things are starting to shape up. And I also added this growing plant going up the side of the wall here, just adds a splash of colour to that end so it's not so blunt. And then around the back I did put this little notice board with some local events going on. I thought that's kind of rather fitting. That's pretty nice. And the bench that I had spare left over, well, I did something with it, which I'll show you. But I also changed out the bench on there because the other 2 benches are now on the platform on the other side. I did have some benches here, but they kind of just blended into that little masonry wall there and didn't stand out well. But at least these ones are consistent and it kind of matches the colour scheme. So they've got different advertising. So that one says fresh. And then the other one has got the like farm logo on there. And here's what it looks like with the train station placed back in. I've added some more track, even though it's not ballasted or anything. It will get done. You have to stay tuned for that. But it gives you a rough idea of how it's looking as this train station here. That's pretty cool. Although there isn't currently any easy access between each platform. Obviously, you've got the road crossing there, so you could walk across the road. There is going to be a walkway here, but well, as you can see, it's kind of blocked off. So I'm not sure whether I should open that up and include this as part of the train station area, so you can easily just walk straight over to the other platform if you need to catch a train there. But otherwise, you just have to cross the street. I guess it's Lego. It doesn't have to be completely realistic because I've got ideas for what's going in this space, so I don't want to give too much to this train station because it's already taken up, well, 6 base plates essentially, which is quite a lot of real estate for Lego City. So I don't want to make it too much bigger, but I like what I've got going on here. And I think once everything is all done and it's knocked over a boat here. I think once everything is all done and it's extended slightly further out the back here, it's going to look really good. Yeah, I'm happy with how it's coming along nicely. If you have any feedback or suggestions, tell me in the comments below. What would you do differently and what do you like that I've done so far? I'd love to know. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends.